Go in the wash, it'll be grand. Did his pants split? Oh my god. Whoever suggested watching this on Pluto. Thank you. I just want to take a moment to appreciate that my hair is now long enough to put in twin braids. I haven't been able to do twin braids in a long time. Even when my hair was like, when I didn't have the undercut, I couldn't put my hair in twin braids, but now it's long enough. So, yay. Oh, my part is uneven. Okay. Well, that's my bad. I'll get it right next time. We're still learning. It's okay. So I like how I told my husband I was tired and all I really wanted to do was take a nap. And what does he do? He pours me a glass of wine. Ooh, there's still something left. Not anymore. And for those who want to know, dusty bottle. I drink only the classiest of cheap Walmart wines. And this is a giant bottle of it. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, but I call it Bella Bola. It's a Moscato. It's fucking delicious. The bottle is very dusty because it's been on that shelf behind us for a very long time. As you can tell by the fact that it was still very full. We don't get wine that often, and we tend to get wine because we feel like we want to drink, and then we don't open it for months. So it's been sitting up there a while. All of those have. I don't think I've bought any alcohol this year. I think that's from last year. So that tells you a lot. But yeah, now I've had wine, and I'm even more tired. But at least I'm a different kind of tired. So my plan this week was simple. I was going to work on Puck's Choice. Like, I'd already decided what I was going to work on. However, two things. The first is that where I'm at with Puck's Choice is I've done a final read through of it for proofreading purposes. I need to make sure I update the formatting document with those, make sure it's formatted correctly, do some last minute final checks, get the page count to my cover artist, and then get everything ready so that as soon as she gets me the paperback cover, I can go ahead and start uploading everything so I can order a proof copy. Herein lies the problem. I only usually have time to work on stories during my breaks, and I don't bring my laptop to work anymore. It was too much of a hassle, especially at the point when we were walking up and down the hill, and that was why I bought the tablet. Like, that was the main #1 reason why I bought the tablet. The other thing that's on my to-do list this week is I have to edit the video I filmed last week that's going to be uploading this week, because I was supposed to do that today since I sleep Sunday nights so that I can work Monday nights, so since I have the day off. And that means that I usually spend Monday, like early morning after Justin and the kids take off for work and school, filming, editing, uploading, all that fun jazz, except for I didn't do that today. I read instead, which was fine. However, it does put me a little bit behind because my plan for this week that I completely forgot about until this afternoon when I was starting to get ready for work is the fact that I wanted to have not just this week's video edited and uploaded, I wanted to have next week's video edited and uploaded. And that is because next week is the 7-day book challenge. I have a whole week off from work to dedicate to the 7-day book challenge, but there are 5 short stories I want to work on. One of them is like half done because I worked on it for the last 7-day book challenge, but like one I have to completely rewrite because I changed it, and you'll get more details about that when the video about the short story series comes out, because I do have that planned in the future. But the other thing is that so I have 4, let's see, story number 3, 5, 6, and 7. I have 4 short stories to write completely from scratch, and I have 1 to complete. So that puts me, with them being about 10,000 words, at anywhere from 40 to 50,000 words for that week. 7 days. I don't remember off the top of my head how many words it is. I'll put it up here in this, lovely brick wall space, but it's a lot daily, which again is fine because I did take off for work specifically for that reason. Like, I wanted to be able to write, and honestly, it isn't 7 days because I really don't want to write on the weekends, so it's actually 5 days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I do a live stream on Saturday evenings, but that's more for me to script videos in the future or catch up on other things like my reading log. That's for catch-up work from the week, the prior week that I haven't done, or because I'm still in catch-up mode, that's for catch-up mode stuff. So I'm at a caught between a rock and a hard place because I don't want to work on Puck's Choice at work because I screwed up what I needed to do today. I won't get a chance to work on Puck's Choice this week, probably. I will if I finish the video stuff that I want to get finished this week. I'll go ahead and make sure that Puck's Choice is top of my list. But that means that there's a possibility I won't be working on Puck's Choice stuff until next week, and I need to figure out how I'm going to do that. Like, maybe I dedicate so many hours. I can probably go ahead and send an email to my cover artist and be like, hey, I'll have a final word count for you by the end of this week. Maybe I can do that, get that to her at least, so we can get that ball rolling. Because she knows that I'm working on it, but she doesn't know. She did email me and she was like, okay, just give me a page count whenever you can. But the other thing I need to get to her is the blurb. And I know I have one written, but it's not in any of the notes that I have in Notion. So I obviously haven't updated that information. So I need to get that all done too. So I have a lot of work to do on Puck's Choice, but I'm not going to be able to do it at work because that all involves my laptop, which I'm not bringing to work. I'm not. My backpack's already heavy enough and my laptop doesn't fit in it. And I'm not bringing my laptop bag anymore because like I said, that was the whole purpose of me getting the tabos, so I can work on stuff here. So I'm going to go ahead and spin the spinning wheel, and you'll see it right here. And I'm going to work on that project instead, whatever that is. I guess you'll find out before I do, honestly. But that's what I'm going to work on this week at work. I want to continue working on writing-related stuff. I don't want to stop the momentum I have with the 7-day book challenge next week, with the videos that I want to make sure I get filmed, edited, and uploaded this week, with the fact that I've got so much work to do on Puck's Choice that I'm going to be working on that probably Saturday during my live stream. I want to make sure I'm continuing to work on stuff during the week, during my lunch breaks, and I don't want that to be reading. Depending on what the wheel says, I might still go back to doing my short story by hand. I can't work on it a lot. My hand is still hurting from working on it all last week and doing 60 plus pages. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to cut the camera. My hand is still hurting from doing 60 plus pages, and that's all me. I know that was dumb, but I had the ideas. I still have the ideas. It's just right now I can't physically work on it because my hands are just hurting too much. I want to finish that story because Nicole, I think it's Ford Thomas. It's either Ford Thomas or Thomas Ford. I can never remember what order her name is, and I'm so sorry, Nicole. But Nicole is doing an anthology for AuthorTubers, the Bog Hag anthology, and I do have ideas for a short story for that. I mentioned in the comment when I posted on her video was the fact that my first introduction to the Bog Hag was D&D related, so I have a D&D related story that I want to write, and that's got to be less than 5,000 words, which is easy for me to do by hand. So as soon as I finish the short story I'm currently working on, I'm going to go ahead and jump into that. Also, if you're like me and you like to handwrite and you use composition notebooks, Amazon has a great deal right now. I don't know about where you guys live, but for me personally, where I live, composition notebooks start at $2 right now in like all the stores. They sometimes come down during like back to school stuff, but honestly, there weren't very many, at least as far as notebooks go, there weren't many deals this year for back to school, which kind of sucks because that meant composition notebooks were still $2, and like the ones from the 5-star company were $4. Like, they were expensive this year, and the only place I can find composition notebooks for cheap is Dollar Tree, and I ripped that paper. Like, it's too thin. So if you want composition notebooks, this is really shaky, I'm so sorry. My arms are getting tired. If you want composition notebooks, Amazon does have bulk orders. I'm getting ready to place a bulk order for notebooks. It'll be 48 notebooks, so they come out to $1.50 a piece. And that means I'm spending like $75, something like that. But they'll last me a good long while. I've already filled up half a notebook with one short story because of how big I write and stuff like that. To me, that's worth it, especially since I do plan on continuing to handwrite some stories, and I've got a lot of story ideas I could handwrite that are short stories, and I might even use some as like plotting notebooks. But these ones are not just black. I've got like 5 at home that are black, and I want some variety in my colors. So I'm going to order a bulk order of colored notebooks that are $1.50 a piece in the end. So I will include that link in the description if you're interested in checking that out. They do have larger bulk orders if you have A, the space, and B, the money, because not cheap. Maybe someday future Skye will be able to do that, but today is not that day. That's the plan. I'm going to spin the wheel, see what it says, and if I don't really want to work on that, whatever it says, I will continue handwriting, but probably not for as long. And if I don't, I might start I might do some video scripting. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll see. I'll let you know. I'm waiting for this week's video to upload, so I wanted to go ahead and talk a little bit about what I did last night. I started reading through Just One Bite, which is the story that the spinning wheel chose for me. However, I remembered I've got 2 different versions of the story, and both are slightly different, and I've just got random scenes from both. So I think what I need to do is I need to go back and outline it and figure out how I want the story to work. And I think it's not working currently, which is part of the reason I have 2 different stories. And I think I do have somewhat of an outline for it, but I need to double check it and look at it and see what's going on with it. If I do, it's not moths, it's flies. That is a problem for tonight, Skye, and I am not going to worry about it right now. I am so fucking tired of my head hurting. It's been hurting off and on for the past few days, and I don't know what's causing it, and I am tired of taking meds for it. Because of how persistent it is, I almost want to say it's a migraine, because it'll ebb and flow. Like some days it'll hurt worse than others, and it's just sometimes it feels like it almost goes away completely and then it hits back with a vengeance. It's almost holy, which, hurrah for me, it felt like it went away while I was editing the video, but almost as soon as I finished editing the video, now I feel like I'm dying. So I'm going to go eat some breakfast, I'm going to finish my cup of soda, and then I'm going to take some more meds, because it's about time. I have like 20 minutes before I can take more meds again at the 4-hour mark, and I'm gonna go to bed, because I feel like crap now. My head hurts. I don't know what's causing it. I really don't. I give up. I forgot to tell you what Just One Bite is about. It's a vampire fated mates paranormal romance. Young woman has a very bad history with vampires. She watched them murder her family, her entire family, and she was taken in as a slave and threatened with death multiple times, and then the son of the vampire king saves her, and then we jump sometime into the future. I don't remember how many years, and vampires have now come out in the open under a new king. This king is much nicer, however, she still hates vampires because she knows what they can do, and she's determined to have nothing to do with vampires, except that she finds herself the fated mate of one, and there's certain circumstances of that. It's almost an enemies to lovers, except for it's not, because he never once sees her as an enemy, but she sees all vampires as an enemy, so she's very begrudgingly accepting of very few vampires. Like, there's 2 on her good side list kind of thing. I have a cover for this one too, which is fun, which is part of the reason I wanted to write this one, and I added it to my wheel because I knew I had a cover for it as soon as I finish it and I get it edited, I can work on getting it published. So maybe I can have a standalone come out next year. That's the plan. Me and my plans don't go so well. So, discovery was made. I was working on an email to my cover designer so that I could double check some information, because we had conflicting information, well, excuse you, about the cover design. I thought I purchased the ebook and paperback design at the same time, and apparently I only purchased the ebook with the intention of purchasing the paperback later, but never went back and purchased the paperback. And so that's what she was informing me of. She was like, you didn't buy the paperback. I was like, oh. So I went back and looked at my records, and of course she's right, which I figured it was my mistake. But that means that I have 2 options. If I want the paperback to come out at the same time as the ebook, that means I need to purchase the paperback, which is fine. It's not, the ebook is the more expensive part. Look at this dog. That's what you're hearing. You're hearing him doing this. Weirdo. So if you're wondering what that noise in the background is, that's him being weird. Anyways, so my options are to purchase the paperback cover, which again won't be as much as purchasing the ebook was, because of the fact that the ebook is the bulk of the process. However, I really don't have the money to do that, because I thought I'd already purchased the paperback. So option number 2 is that I can just put out the ebook, which means my pre-order can go up like in the next couple of days, because I wanted to make sure I put a pre-order up for both the paperback and the ebook at the same time. But if I'm just going to publish the ebook, I don't need all that information that I need for the paperback, which means I don't have to wait for a proof copy, which means as soon as I put final edits in, I can get this pre-order up and like ready to go. So that's option number 2.
I really did want the paperback and the ebook to come out at the same time, though, because it was going to be the first time I did that. Because all my other books are only available as ebook, except for if they were published in an anthology. I have not done paperbacks since CreateSpace went away. That's how long I've been publishing. I published with CreateSpace, and I haven't published paperback since. So this was going to be the first one where I did ebook and paperback at the same time. So now I have some decisions to make, and I don't know what to choose. If you guys were in my position, you really didn't have the money to do a paperback cover, even if it's not going to be that expensive, what would you do? Would you just publish the ebook so that it gets out on time? Like, I really do. The 10-year anniversary date is December 3rd. I want it out on December 3rd. So that means I either need to suck it up and go ahead and purchase the paperback cover, or I need to just forego the paperback right now and focus on the ebook so that it comes out on its date. If you guys were in my position, what would you do? I have almost everything ready to go. I'm reworking the blurb now because the blurb I had was from 2018. It does not work anymore. It did work then, doesn't work now because we made some changes to the storyline, and those changes affected the blurb. So, I am currently reworking the blurb. I'm putting in final edits from my proofread, my final proofread. It won't be long before I have everything ready, and all I would need to do the paperback is get that paperback cover. But I don't know, A, how much that's going to be, and B, if I'll have the money for that. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I'm just curious, what would you guys do if you guys were in my position? Would you just suck it up and purchase the paperback, or would you put the ebook out with the intention of putting the paperback out later? Let me know, because I'm curious.
So I know it's hard to see, but this is as zoomed in as I can get and still make it like the least amount of blurriness as I can. That is the moon right there, and it literally is like, if you take the full moon and cut it in half, that's exactly what it looks like to me. Anyone else looking at it tonight? I don't know if you guys have seen it, but Kate just recently posted a video talking about a writing challenge she wants to do in Q4, 100K with Kate or 100K in Q4. And am I going to do it? You know I am. If you've been here a while, you know I love a good writing challenge, and I wanted something to replace Nano. And some of my friends from Breaking the Block were talking about doing like something in October, like Rocktober or something like that. And I'm not saying we can't still do that, but what Kate proposes is to write 100K across a whole entire quarter. And when you equate that out into daily word count and you're writing every day, that's 1,087 words, I want to say. 86, somewhere in that ballpark. It's still, Nano requires 1,667 words per day across 30 days in order to hit 50K. So having to only write a little over 1,000 words, like less than 1,100 words, in order to complete a writing challenge across the entire quarter, it's spread out a little bit more. That to me is a fantastic idea. I love that, especially since the winter months are usually, if you live in the northern hemisphere, the winter months are colder, you tend to stay in more, you want to do less things outside kind of thing. For me personally, that is the perfect time to do a writing challenge like this. For someone like me, who is only writing like 5 days a week, my writing schedule tends to be, I don't tend to write on Mondays, I don't tend to write on Sundays. So like Tuesday through Saturday are my writing days generally. And those are the days I am working on various writing projects, mostly because I work Monday night to Saturday morning. That's when I tend to write. Taking weekends off, with my weekends being Sunday and Monday, even calculating that kind of word count, I only have to write 1,516 words per day. That one I do remember. 1,516 words. Again, still less than Nano when you compare all three. And even for those who celebrate different holidays, depending on where you are at in the world and what holidays you celebrate, for me personally, I tend to celebrate Halloween, I celebrate Thanksgiving, I celebrate Christmas. To be fair, I probably honestly would not celebrate, if it was just me and my husband at home, I don't think we would celebrate Christmas if we didn't have kids. But that's a topic for another day. But going around to that, even if you celebrate those holidays and you calculate for not writing on those days, it's still not a lot more to be added per day in order to make up those days. Or like I say, there's other holidays you celebrate that you have to account for, or like say you don't write on your birthday. I tend to write on my birthday. That's actually when I get a lot more writing done than anything else, but that's besides the point. I am definitely going to sit down with a calendar over the next couple weeks to figure out what days specifically I don't want to write, because like even though I tend to write on holidays, mostly because my family on holidays doesn't tend to get up. So like I'll be lucky if I see my family before noon on Thanksgiving or Christmas. So that's perfect for me to write if I'm home already, especially since like I work in the clinic. I'm currently sitting down for my lunch break, and I will not be working those days because the clinic's closed.
So I automatically have those days off. So I know I won't be going into work that night. So I can definitely get some stuff done. So I'll be sitting down with a calendar across probably my planner the next couple weeks and figuring out exactly what I want to, like what days specifically I will not be working, and calculate a new word count based on that. And I think I want to keep a word count tracker. I know the HB90 calendar has a word count tracker in it, and I'm going to use it specifically for this writing challenge. I haven't figured out how I'm going to do that yet because I'm terrible with word count trackers digitally. I do have my word count tracker, but I tend to, like, once a quarter go back through, open up all my Scrivener projects and see what days I wrote what words, and if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. It's close enough. Scrivener tells me what I've written. I'll make it work. That's what I'm going to be doing. I think I'm going to be doing that writing challenge. I know we're going to be doing something with Sam and them in October, but I'm going to definitely mention them and send them the video of Kate's video and say, hey guys, this is what she's doing. Is she's making across a quarter, and to me it's a little simpler because the word count's a little smaller, and seeing what they say to that. Shameless plug, join us on Sundays for Breaking the Block, and if you haven't seen Kate's video, I'll include that in the link too, the description too, so that you guys can check that out, because I'm really excited about this writing challenge. I do have a video coming out. I think it was planned for Q4 about writing challenges and which ones I love, but I might hold off on that one until I completed this writing challenge so that I can talk about it fully as well, because I think that would be cool. Eventually I'll have videos talking about all the writing challenges. That being said, this weekend's the last weekend right before the 7-day book challenge starts. You're going to see this video right before the 7-day book challenge starts, because that's starting on Monday. I have next week off from work because I'm doing the 7-day book challenge, and I am going to be aiming for 50K in 7 days. 5 technically. Anyways, I think that's all I have for you guys today. At least for the, I'll come back and check in later when I've got more stuff to talk about, but yeah. I'm excited. Hi there. So, I have filmed a lot of clips this week, and I don't remember everything I've talked about. So we're going to pretend those clips don't exist. Will I keep some of them in? Yes, I will. I just don't know which ones. I've had a lot of random ideas this week. I've had a lot of random thoughts this week. But as far as like actual writing updates on like what I've worked on, what I've done with those projects and stuff like that, we're going to keep that condensed to right here. Sort of. There's going to be one other update clip, but for right now, we're just going to keep it concise and right here. Here's what I've been up to this week. At the beginning of this week, I did spin my wheel because I'd originally mentioned to you guys, I think it was in last week's vlog or another clip earlier this week, that I wanted to work on Puck's Choice because Puck's Choice is scheduled to come out December 3rd. Like, that's its 10-year anniversary. That's when I wanted to come out. However, because the only thing I really take with me to work is my tablet, and we are now in like final crunch mode with Puck's Choice, like I literally just have to take my proofreading edits that I did on this tablet and transfer them into my formatting file. It's already been through one formatting, and once I implement those changes in, all I'll have to do is make sure everything is concise and up to date and the formatting is pristine still, and then I can download my EPUB, I can download my paperback files, and that portion will be done. From there, all I have left is the paperback cover, because while I do have an ebook cover and I will be doing a cover reveal sometime around the beginning of October, I don't have the paperback copy yet, which is fine, and we'll get into that a little bit more in a little bit. And then all I've got to do is create my pre-order, which means I've got to come up with my blurb, I've got to come up with my keywords, I've got to come up with my categories, all stuff I haven't really looked into in like 4+ years. So I've got to reconnect with all that stuff, and none of that is stuff I can do really from my tablet at work. So I discovered pretty quickly that I could not work on Puck's Choice at work. That was strictly going to be an at-home, before I come to work, after I come home from work, while I was waiting, like from getting up to getting the kids off the bus or something like that. Something where I was going to have to like be at my computer, be at my laptop, and work on my laptop. Because now that I've got the tablet, I have no desire at all to bring my laptop to work unless I absolutely have to. And because we're still on my deadline, I mean, my day counter says I've got 80 days before Puck's Choice comes out. We are still good. Because of that, I have no desire to bring my laptop to work, again, unless I absolutely have to. And I don't have to, so I don't want to. So because of that, I went ahead and spun the wheel again, and it picked Just One Bite for my project. At work, I was working on Just One Bite. At home, I was working on Puck's Choice. Here's what I did this week. For Puck's Choice, I emailed my cover designer. I thought in my head that I had purchased, when I purchased the ebook cover, I thought I had purchased the paperback cover. And I am so glad that when I emailed her, I went ahead and checked my records first.
I used to keep this really detailed spreadsheet of like especially like when it came to pre-mades, because I buy a lot of pre-mades, I would track the title I was purchasing the cover for, no matter what it was, as far as like on my side. And then if it was a pre-made cover, I was tracking the pre-made cover title, so that if like a lot of designers, until you're ready, just hold on to the cover for you. They don't send you the file, obviously, because it's not finished. So like I wanted to make sure I remembered the pre-made cover title so that I could be like, it's this cover. I saved designer information. I saved what type of file I purchased, whether it was ebook, paperback, audiobook, stuff like that. The chart also said like costs I spent, discounts I got, and all that. And I used to keep really good track of all that information. I have a really good spreadsheet for that I haven't updated in like 5 years. I have since bought a lot of covers on sale, or I've done a couple custom covers since then. So it is no longer accurate. However, it did have my information for Puck's Choice, which was great, because I discovered that I did not buy an ebook paperback cover combo like I thought. I just bought the ebook. And I'm so glad I double checked that before I sent an email and made myself look like an ass. Cool. I sent an email, said, hey, I purchased the cover, sent her the cover just as like a reminder, like, this is the cover I purchased from you. It's been like 5 years. I understand if you don't remember. Here it is so you can remember. And like, click some neurons. I was like, what do I need to do in order to get the ball rolling to get the paperback copy? And so today, Thursday, she answered me and let me know the list of details she needed. And I know, because I want specific information on the spine, that there's some extra information I'll be sending her. And the other thing I plan on doing is I'm going to be looking through my books Friday morning, tomorrow, when I get home from work, because I want to look at some of the books that I have on my shelf that I like and see how the back covers, how the spine is, and all that information. And then I'm going to start compiling my email to send that information to her. I won't have all the information she needs yet, because like she needs the paper color that I want, whether that's white or cream. She needs the page number that I have, because that's going to be what determines the file size based on the spine width and stuff like that. So like there are stuff I can't get to her yet until I have completed my tasks, which is fine, because my tasks will be completed by the end of next week, not this week. I wanted them this week, but it's not going to happen because I haven't spent as much time as I wanted to this week on that project. Saturday, during my live stream, I plan on converting all of my final proofread edits that are in here to the formatting file on my laptop, so that I can get the final page count and get that information. But like the other thing I'm still working with is like the blurb. I had a blurb, but again, it's like 10 years old, and so I've been slowly reworking it through the week, and I think I finally got it to a place where I'm happy with it. However, during my live stream on Saturday, I might ask anyone who's willing to take a look at it. There's a couple other people I might ask to take a look at it to see if they're willing to take a crack at it and see how it reads and if they can strengthen it some for me, because while it looks good to me, it doesn't look great to me. And I'm like, it could be better. Like, I realize it could be better, and I want it to be better. I want it to sell my book. That is what I still need to do with Puck's Choice. I think that's everything. Let me look at my writing journal and see if I missed anything. So that's still my list. I need to touch up, tweak, whatever you want to call it, to my blurb. I need to put my final proofreading edits into my formatting file and get a final page count once I've downloaded those final files, make sure everything's on the up and up. The only thing that it won't matter so much with the paperback, but with the ebook version, which I will probably not download right away. I'll download it to my tablet so I can do one final read through, make sure everything is good to go. But as far as like the one thing that will not be in the ebook version, I want to go ahead and when I set up a pre-order link for book 1, I am possibly going to go ahead and set up a pre-order link for book 2. I didn't really want to do that though. I still have to think on that. Only because when book 1 releases, I want to go ahead and have a pre-order link for book 2 ready to go, because it is in final edit form. So it is with the editor right now. I do need to send an email about that. It's one thing I haven't done this week that I meant to do. And I would really like to get to the point where I have book 2 nearly ready to go by the time book 1 comes out, so I can go ahead and start thinking of a release date for book 2. Right now, I'm gonna tentatively say June of 2025, but do not hold me to that because I want book 3 done and ready before I publish book 2. So I might do book 2 at December and release it earlier if I feel like I'm ready to go ahead and release it. So tentatively, as much as I would like to say June 2025 for book 2, I'm going to go ahead and say December of 2025 for book 2, and then December of 2026 for book 3, and 2027 for book 4. Like, I'll just have them a year apart. That could always change, because as soon as the books are ready to go, I'm going to go ahead and start putting up pre-order links and publishing. But I want to make sure my books are ready to go before I put up the pre-order link, which is why I haven't set up the pre-order link for Puck's Choice yet, is because, in my opinion, it's not ready. I want that paperback proof copy in my hand before I sent out a pre-order link. So that is what I'm still working on with Puck's Choice. I am getting there, not there yet. It's been baby steps, but we are nearly there. I was actually messaging Amy earlier today and a couple other people, and I was like, it feels surreal. It's been 10 years since this book was published the first time. It's getting ready to be re-released. It was my first paperback that I held in my hands, and I was like super excited about it as far as like novels go. And it's been 4 years now since I've had a release at all, novel-wise. I've had like some anthology pieces here and there, but as far as like where I have done all of the steps, I wrote the blurb, I set up the pre-order links, I set up the sales links or whatever, all of the in-between steps, it's been 4 years. And even then, my first 3 books are only available in ebook right now. Eventually they'll be out in paperback, but currently they're only available in ebook. So it feels very surreal that in just a couple months, I will be holding a paperback version of Puck's Choice, which is my baby. You're allowed to hate my baby. You can think it's the ugliest baby in the world, but it's gonna make me so fucking happy to hold that in my hands. Like, I know I'm gonna cry. I'm sitting here just thinking about it almost in tears because I'm like, I cannot wait for that feeling when I'm holding it in my hand. I see all these people, all these authors that I know that open up their books and they are holding copies in their hand, and I'm like, I'm so fucking jealous. Like, I want to do that so bad. I want to be able to put my own books on my own goddamn bookshelf. I want to sign them and send them off to people, and I can't because I don't have any paperbacks. So this will be my first paperback. Shit, it's gonna be my first paperback novel under SD Hegyes. And it feels almost fitting because it was my first paperback novel under Skye Hegyes, and now it's gonna be my first paperback novel under SD Hegyes. And that just feels surreal, and it makes me happy and giddy, and I'm gonna cry. Oh god. Alright, I think I need to get off of Puck's Choice right now. Let's talk about Just One Bite. I have not done nearly as much work on Just One Bite. Honestly, comparatively, I've done almost no work on Just One Bite. Because after the wheel spun that one and I started reading through, I have 2 different drafts on my tablet for some reason. One is labeled with Just One Bite. The other one's labeled with Just One Bite a month. I don't remember. I think it's July. Either June or July. 2022. 22? I think 22. So I haven't worked on it in a bit. And I don't know if the other one that doesn't have a date on it is actually the earlier one or the newer one. The one with no date has 3 chapters in it and a full outline. The one with a date has many more chapters and no outline. But either way, I was comparing the 2 and seeing where the storylines were going and seeing which one was like the one I needed to work on. And ultimately, I decided that neither was. I decided to go ahead and scrap both versions. I have not deleted them. They're still in my files, don't worry. But I was reading back through bits and pieces of both and kind of like mentally taking notes because I wasn't writing anything down and seeing what I liked about both versions, what I hated about both versions. And then I took a look at the outline I had written and I compared that to what I wanted to happen in the story. Like, in my brain, this was one of the stories that I knew like front to back. I knew the inciting incident, I knew the ending, I knew many plot points in between. It was one of the ones that, like, I know I just have to write it. I know what's going to happen. I just have to write it out. So based on the 2 story drafts that I was starting to write, the outline that I had, and the thoughts in my head, I drafted a new outline. I wrote on note cards, and I was following a little bit of Romancing the Beat sheet process, mixing in a little bit of the process I talked about in another video that I can't remember, and I don't remember the name of it. It might be Save the Cat. I mentioned it in that video that I think it might be Save the Cat, but I'm not positive it's Save the Cat because Save the Cat was never mentioned. It's based off of Katie Tastic's video for outlining. 3 block, 3 act, 9 something structure. I don't remember. There's 27 chapters in that structure, the way she does it. It's like 3 acts, 3 blocks per 3 acts, 3 chapters per block for 3 blocks per act where there's 3 acts. It's something similar to that. Everything's in 3 so that you come up with 27 in the end. It all works out. But it was kind of mixing the plot lines of both of those, or the story beats of both those, while writing the new outline that looks like it's going to have 24, maybe 25 or so chapters. It is dual POV, so that's going to be an interesting thing because I have attempted dual POV before and it didn't work out so well in my favor. For those who are curious, that turned into the Damn Dangerous Quartet, and it is no longer in dual POV if you haven't noticed, if you haven't read it. More about that in a future video. But yeah, so now I've got a full outline, and I say full outline, I use that term loosely. I have a 1 sentence per chapter outline of what I think is going to happen in Just One Bite. So that is starting to get into the sweet spot where I can start writing it. And I am thinking about it more, but I haven't actually written anything. And I'm looking down at my tablet to see what else I've worked on. That was the wrong story. But yeah, comparatively between the two, I've done more work on Puck's Choice. However, I have done work on something every day this week as far as like writing stuff goes. So that's more what I'm happy about. I've gotten to the point where with Just One Bite, I am ready to start drafting it. However, I think I have finally hit that point where there's 2 things I want to do. I want to finish Puck's Choice. I want it done. I want to make sure my end is done so that I'm only waiting on other people and then I can get my pre-order link, which means that my focus for the rest of this week is going to be to transfer my final proofreading edits from my tablet to my computer. And then at work, I think what I want to do now that I'm done outlining Just One Bite, I don't want to start drafting it yet because I think I want to save that for another writing challenge, which I think I mentioned in this vlog. I don't know if I've mentioned in this vlog. Kate Kavanaugh is doing a 100K Q4 challenge, or 100K with Kate challenge. And she is writing 100K in October, November, December. And I want to do that as well. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save Just One Bite for that. Because I think, based on the way I've outlined, based on the word counts I was getting per chapter in the old 2 drafts, I think I will get anywhere from 60 to 80K novel from that, and then I can just substitute a couple more pieces in to kind of get me over the threshold for that 100K. But the 2 other projects I want to work on currently are the short story that I was writing called A Buck Short that I worked on last week in last week's vlog. I want to go ahead and finish that up because I do want to participate in the Bog Hag Anthology. I'm only having ifs about that because of the fact that it is supposed to be 5,000 words, and I struggle so much to have only 5,000 word stories. So if I do drop out of the Bog Hag Anthology, that'll be because that'll literally be the reason why I cannot keep it under 5,000 for some fucking reason. But as of this moment, I do want to participate in that anthology, which means I need to finish A Buck Short because I handwrite all my short stories currently. That means I need to get to work on that. So yeah, that's what I've done this week. That's what I'm going to finish doing the rest of this week. I'm going to focus more on Puck's Choice, but when I'm at work, I'm going to work on the short story because I really have nothing else to work on because I don't want to start drafting Just One Bite, and I think we finally hit the point where it's ready for drafting. So I want to hold out on that. And then next week I'll be alternating between working on Puck's Choice and whatever else I have to finish up with that, depending on where we are in the process, or next week is the 7-day book challenge, and I haven't mentioned it enough this week or last week, or I haven't done enough advertising of that at all, honestly. So next week I have the 7-day book challenge, and I got lots of stories I'll be working on for that because I hate myself. That's what I'm gonna work on the rest of this week and next week, and yeah, I'll come back in later with a final word clip or final clip talking about how I finished off this week. Probably after my live stream on Saturday, which I plan on transferring proofreading notes from this to my laptop, so keep an eye out. So I was editing the vlog and I realized I never did an outro clip. I thought I did and it turned out I didn't. So this is me signing off for this week. Next week is the 7-day book challenge. I have plans to finish up the Sultry Solstice series, Sultry Solstices. So say that 5 times fast. That is my plan. Whether or not it actually happens is the question, and hopefully it will. I'm really hoping I can complete that series. But at the same time, every time I read back through the previous stories, I'm like, ooh, I need to do this instead. And so I keep just reworking some parts of the previous written stories instead of writing the new stories. So that may be what happens this week too. We'll see. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up here. I got a lot of work done this past week, but it wasn't, I didn't do anything on Friday night because I was prepping for the 7-day book challenge. So no additional things to add, just that I'm as ready as I'm going to be for the 7-day book challenge. And I did not advertise that a lot, and I apologize. And this vlog's going up late because it's already Monday. So yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys in my next vlog. Bye, Dragon.